Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Hi, everybody, and welcome aboard. And welcome aboard once again. And here we are. Welcome to another edition of Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan. We want to wish you a pleasant morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night to each and every one of you in your different time zones. Right now, we have 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning over there in London at 1 a.m. Also Friday morning in Tokyo, Japan at 9 a.m. And thank you so much for being along with us. We're originating from New York. That's where we come from. And if you're on another time zone, well, look at your clock, because whatever you see on your clock, that's what time we come on each week in your area. We're going to be with you for the next hour. And of course, this hour, a lot of people have been with us for a long time, and we thank you. We're so grateful that you stayed with us all this time. And possibly there may be new people on the horizon here. So we want to acknowledge those new people, have them come in and see what they're up to. Okay, we want to acknowledge those new people. And before we do that, though, I want to just get something going here. I'm locked out, so I may not be on. So we got to check it out. Okay, we got to check it out. Because I don't think I'm on Facebook just yet. Don't think I'm on Facebook just yet. Let's see. I think we are on. Okay, we're on Facebook now. We're on Facebook. Okay, we're a little late. So I'm going to repeat myself once again to each and every one of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you out there, wherever you are, wherever you're listening. It's a little bit after 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning, and London time at 1 a.m. and Saturday, Friday morning over in Tokyo, Japan at 9 a.m. I already said all of this because we were off Facebook. So we're on now. We're back on now. So everything looks good right now. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. And we're going to be with you for a whole hour. And those of you who are joining us for the first time, how we operate is what we have here is we bring each and every one of you aboard here, right? And we do that because it's Talk Back Live, and you can talk back to us. All you have to do is use your little fingers, right? Type on the keyboard on your computer, on your laptop, which is another computer, right? You know, your cell phone, and even your tablet or any other form of communication you could muster up to get in touch with us. And I'll see that right there on the big screen as you type it all in. I'll see it right there on the big screen. And of course, I am going to acknowledge all of your thoughts and ideas. And, you know, if you have something to say in particular, even if it's just to say hi and no more, that's okay too. But if, let's say, for instance, all of you want to talk about something in particular, you have a news flash or something, anything that you want to talk about, you can chime right in. And of course, we'll entertain all of that. But as the host of the show, I get it started. And then once I get it started, then you can chime in and do all of that. But we're so glad to have you aboard with us, and stay with us, okay? Tell your family and friends about us, and those of you here for the first time, okay? We come from 3 different places. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Now, let me explain something. You don't see us on Instagram, and you almost didn't see us on Facebook. You didn't see us on Instagram because we're having a technical problem. I mean, technicalities all over the place. We just had a small technicality on Facebook, but we're back on track with that. But we have a technicality, something technical going wrong on Instagram. So we're not broadcasting live on Instagram, but we are on YouTube as well. And so you can choose one of those. And hopefully tomorrow when we come back on the coffee hour, we'll have all of that cleared up. We'll see what's happening. Boy, it's a weird day today. Everything's going wrong. When you think you got it nailed down, something happens. A monkey wrench is thrown right into the program, but that's okay. But we're back on track. And for those of you who are watching us again on Facebook, tell your friends about it. And you can do that by actually tagging them. Now you have friends on Facebook, right? You can tag them. and they'll see it. They'll see it's coming from you. And once they see it's coming from you, what they'll do is that they will click on to that information that'll pop up, that notification, right? And once they click onto that notification, then what'll happen is that they'll come back here to us, because it automatically brings them to us once they click on that notification, and they'll see you and everyone else who's here, and you can talk to everyone else that's here as well as talk to me. So we're going to have a good time right through it all. Like I said, it's a whole full hour. And if you can't spend the entire hour, whatever time you can spend with us, we really would appreciate it. And but we hope that that's not the case, that you will be with us. All right. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, okay, Instagram, forget about it. YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, I always encourage you to click onto my YouTube channel, right? Go to the YouTube channel, and there's a thing called subscribe. And all you have to do is click that button that says subscribe. Click that, and you're automatically in. You don't have to pay a dime. There's no fee. There's no nothing to that nature. You don't need a doctor's note or anything. All you have to do is just click it on. Now, when you click it on, from here on in, what will happen is that every time we come on live, and let's say, for instance, you forget about the show, but you happen to be online doing something on the computer, you'll see the notification pop up. It'll remind you that the show is on the air, and all you have to do is click onto that notification, and brings you right to the YouTube channel. And for those of you who are watching us on the other shows, on the other places, well, we already told you that the Instagram is already out. That's out for tonight. So we hopefully that will be cleared up by tomorrow morning when we do the coffee hour. So anyway, keep on telling your friends about it. And again, subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? Because even when we post something as some kind of video or some sort, you'll still get notification too. You will. Remember that all of the views and the ideas and the expressions expressed on this show, Talk Back Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other social media or broadcast outlet. As we move along, ladies and gentlemen, we do our regular routine here. In just a few minutes from now, we've got sports coming up. Sports update that usually comes from Brian Camp. We link up with him from Charlotte, North Carolina. He does the sports. However, he's not going to be here tonight. So he left us information that we could work with when sports time comes around. And that's happening within this half hour, not too long from now. We're going to have those sports for you. So Brian is away for the day, so we'll take care of all of that. And hopefully, he won't be here tomorrow either. So he's taking both tonight and tomorrow night when we do the coffee hour. He's taking that off too. So we're going to be taking care of that for him. And it was nice enough for him to leave the information, because he does that. He's very diligent about that. You know, when he knows he's not coming in, he'll give me a call and say, I won't be there. Something happened, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then he will, give me the sports information that he keyed up. And then we just convey it to you as we go along, all right? Also, in the show, as we move along, we have this little thing, what we call This Day in Music. Well, actually, it's not This Day in Music, it's This Day in History. In other words, whatever went down during this day, on this day, October 5th, in history. Something happened in history on October 5th, right? I said 1st, but October 5th, this day in history. We have that coming up, and it's a line of things that will relate to you. That's coming up too. And also, before the show is over, we will not walk out of this building or close the show out until we give you our picks of the week in movies. Now, a lot of you do weekends the way you want to do them. If you're off on the weekends, if you have that fortunate capacity to move off the weekend, if you're not on the weekends, you're not working or anything like that, and you just, your weekend is for whatever you want to do. Well, one of the things you may want to do is catch up on some old movies, right? Like a lot of people do. It's a possibility you may be in an area where the weather is inclement and it keeps you indoors. That's a very good time to do that. That's, as a matter of fact, that's a very good time to do a lot of things that you usually procrastinate about around the house. But one of the things is checking out and catching up on some old movies. So what I have for you are my picks of the week directly from Turner Classic Movies. I'm going to bring that to you to add to your bucket list of movies to watch during the weekend. That's all coming up, and it's right here on Talk Back Live. So many things to talk about, so many things to do. And so stay with us, okay? And that's exactly what we want you to do. Do you know that this weekend, it's not a long weekend. It's not a long weekend, but there is something coming up on Monday. You know, it's not a legal holiday, but it's coming up, and that's Columbus Day. Columbus Day, yes, you forgot about it, right? So that's coming up on this coming Monday. You still have to go to work. Some of you may take off just anyway. It doesn't matter, right? You may take off anyway. Anyway, that's coming up on Monday. And so that's what we're celebrating. And I know a lot of parades are going to, especially here in the New York area, we're waiting for the Columbus Day parades. I'm pretty sure they'll be marching down Fifth Avenue. And of course, a lot of New Yorkers are going to be there to see that. I don't know if they do any parades in your area like that, but this is one of the biggest cities in the world. And we get to do that. We have our own Fifth Avenue and just all of those parades. Any parade that you can mention, they all come down Fifth Avenue. Anyway, that's Columbus Day. Also, that same day, celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. Ah, you didn't know that, right? That's another day that's celebrated. So they're killing two birds with one stone. You have Columbus Day and you have Indigenous People Day. So whatever you want to celebrate, either or, it doesn't matter. Now, I really haven't heard about, this is just coming up, this Indigenous People Day, right? It only came up to me. I was only aware of it maybe going back to 2 years ago. But every Columbus Day, it's marked on the calendar. It's also Indigenous People Day. So you got that all coming up. And so there you go. You're free to celebrate. But again, it's not a national holiday. So don't mix that up. It's not a national holiday, but it's always great when it comes around. Have you had a chance to take your flu vaccination yet? Well, you know, the flu season is here. You already know that the flu season is here. And of course, you know, the weather's going to get colder and you're going to be subject to coughs and fever and that whole thing. So you want to avoid all of that, especially the flu. The flu is like one of the worst things you can get. And so the vaccines are available. All you have to do is go to your go to your favorite pharmacist and get the shot. It's usually free. It's usually free. Boy, I am out of it today. Technical problems and everything, and plus this. Okay, it's usually free, and all you have to do is go right into the they used to call them drugstores, but go to your pharmacist. Now, in some places, particularly in my area, right, you have to make an appointment to do that. There used to be a time when we didn't have to make an appointment. All we have to do is just walk right in and say, you know, I want a flu shot. You know, so I guess depending on where you are, you know, you may have to make an appointment. And I guess you can do that online. And if you don't do it online, maybe you could actually do it on the premises when you walk in. Because if they tell you, well, you have to make an appointment. And if you're not computer savvy, 9 times out of 10, you can make the appointment right there on the premises and just keep that appointment. All you have to do is keep that appointment. And so, as you already know, it's time to get it. Now, some people get the flu shots like real early. This right here, and this at this particular time is a very good time to get the flu shot. You may want to wait a couple more weeks. I don't know. You can get that. So please do that. Also, there's another shot that's available, and I think everyone should be take heed to this. It's the new COVID, the update COVID vaccine. You know, you want to take that vaccination. A lot of you have not been on board the first time. You may want to do it this time. Now, this new vaccination for COVID is the one that's going to handle the new variant that comes around. All right. So, and as you already heard on TV and the radio, you already heard that hospitalization has been going up so far, but a lot of people have been taking the vaccinations in the past. They don't stay there that long, so you want to avoid hospitals altogether. You want to avoid that altogether. So all you have to do is take your vaccinations. Now, you can take both. You can take both vaccines, right? At the same time, probably in the same arm, if not one arm, then the other arm, But yeah, they say you can take both vaccinations the same day. But that's your choice. That's your choice to do that. You have the choice to do that. And if you don't want to do it, fine, like I did. Now, I took my flu vaccination 2 weeks ago. And just yesterday, I took my COVID vaccination. So see, I'm on board with it. See, I'm not going to tell you to do it or ask you to do it if I didn't do it, So if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. So, get out there and do that. That's very important. You want to stay healthy and strong. And these 2 vaccinations are very important. Now, let me say one thing about the vaccinations. They said at one time, I heard it on TV, that they said that some of the insurance companies will not be covering it. But now the second issue of that statement came out just, I guess, maybe about 3 days ago, 4 days ago, I don't know, earlier this week, said that all of the insurance companies will cover your vaccination for COVID. But what you do is call your insurance company and find out for sure, to make sure, because initially my insurance company wouldn't cover it. And then when I got the news that, they are covering it now, and I went there and it was no problem. So if you think that they're not covering it, make sure you check with your insurance company just to make sure. And I'm pretty sure, they're going to cover it for you. They want to make sure everybody's healthy. And of course, they have these free tests for families who want them. You're going to have to Google this information yourself to find out where you can get them. And I think there are like 3 packages for a family, 3 or 4 packages to a family, and you can test yourself. Or if you want to do it the way I do it, I'd rather someone do it for me, shove that little thing up my nose. I don't want to do that myself. So, I don't see myself doing that. But anyway, it's your choice. You can either, go to your doctor and they can take care of it for you, or you can do it yourself. It's great to have those great options. It really is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and I am with you until the top of the hour. We're here, and of course, we're thankful that you're here with us. Brian Camp at this time usually comes on with a little bit of sports, but he's not here today. So we're going to cover all of that right now because it's very important. And we hope to see Brian next week when he comes along. But right now, we're going to take care of all of that right now. We're going to take care of the sports thing going on. And as I see, I know that I am on Facebook because I got a few hits just now. So we're good with that. In the beginning, when we started the show, it was, they didn't, I don't know. We didn't have, the signal wasn't there. But we're here now. We're here now. So let's get started with sports right now. Let's see. On this day, October 5th, going back to 1908, the Chicago White Sox pitcher, Ed Walsh, beats the Detroit Tigers 6-1, and that was his 40th victory of the season. Back in 1921, the first baseball World Series radio broadcast had the New York Yankees as they defeat the New York Giants at the Polo Grounds in Manhattan, and they were broadcasting on WJZ and WGY for the very first time. Back in 1956, Yogi Berra becomes the 4th New York Yankee to hit the World Series Grand Slam home run in Game 2 at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. In 1994, the NBA shortens the three-point distance to 22 feet in an attempt to help offensive players score more. In 2001, Barry Bonds hits his 71st and 72nd home run to break the Mark Guire single season for his home runs. In 2001, the Atlanta Braves becomes the first pro sports team to win 10 straight division titles. 2004, 7-time All-Star and 6-time NBA champion Scottie Pippen announces his retirement from the NBA and the Chicago Bulls. Birthdays on this day, October 5th, back in 1902, Ray Kroc. He was a fast food entrepreneur from McDonald's, and he was also the owner of the Major League Baseball team, the San Diego Padres. He was born in Oak Park, Illinois. In 1937, Barry Switzer, NCAA and NFL coach, was born in Crosset, Arkansas. Back in 1972, Grant Hill, NBA forward, was born in Dallas, Texas. And this is all happening on this day. They're all celebrating birthdays this day. And also, happy birthday. 1989, he was born. Travis Kelce, the NFL tight end, he was born in Westlake, Ohio. Now, on October 6, 1926, Babe Ruth becomes the first Major League Baseball player to hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. In 1966, the Baltimore Orioles pitcher Jim Palmer, at the age of 20, is the youngest to record a World Series shutout. He beats the Los Angeles Dodgers 6-0 in game 2. In 1983, the New York Jets announced they are leaving Shea Stadium to go to the Meadowlands. In 1985, New York Yankee pitcher and a knuckleballer Phil Niekro, he becomes the 18th pitcher to win 300 games. In 1991, the Baltimore Orioles' last game was at Memorial Stadium. In 1993, after 9 seasons and 3 championships, the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, announces his retirement, only to return March 18, 1995, and win another 3 championships. And birthdays for October 6th, that's tomorrow. All of that's happening tomorrow. Birthdays for October 6th, 1942, Jerry Grody, the Major League Baseball catcher for 16 years. He was born in San Antonio, Texas. And in 1955, Tony Dungy, NFL coach, was born in Jackson, Mississippi. And that's it for sports, except to say that we want to acknowledge the fact that the Major League Baseball wildcard games are on. So we're coming down to the wire with these games. So if you are, if you don't find them, I'm pretty sure you can. All you have to do is go to make sure you check your local listings and the times that these games come on. So they're all coming on. So we want to thank Brian Camp for giving us his sports of the day. He's actually not here, as I already stated, but we thank him for being here. And thank you guys for being here. Now, the summer is over, right? All right, at least baseball is over. And everyone is going to be putting emphasis on all the football teams. Now, if you're a favorite football fan of whatever team that you like, there's a lot of games are coming on, and Sunday is usually the great time to watch football on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And you have, not only with pro ball, you have college ball, college football. That's all coming up. Now, some people like college football as well as pro football. Me, I'm not too big on college football. I may sit down and watch it every now and again, but I'm not really big on college football. So I put more emphasis on the NFL and watch those particular games. So you have a few games coming up this weekend. And again, check, go to listen, you all have computers, right? You all have cell phones, and you can look up everything on your cell phone and your computer. I don't have the information with me, but you can check the schedules of all of the people, of all of the teams that are playing this weekend. Whether it's Saturday or Sunday, you have the schedule there and you can check it out there. So with all of that coming on, and coming on with the football season, you have the cold weather coming upon us. That's one of the reasons why we told you about the vaccines that you can get. It's very important that you do get that. So it's all there. It's all there. And your favorite football team, maybe it's playing this weekend. Check it out and see what's happening. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. And as I told you, earlier. We have things going on. We talk about these things a lot. On this day in history, we have something on this day in history. So why don't we get started with that, right? We're moving fast. We're moving fast, real fast. On this day in history, 1924, the first Little Orphan Annie strip appears in the New York's Daily News. On this day in history, 1925, WSMAM in Nashville, Tennessee, makes its first transmission for broadcasting. On this day in history, 1945, Meet the Press premieres on radio. On this day in history, 1947, Harry Truman makes his first presidential address, televised at the White House. On this day in history, in 1949, WOR, which is now WWOR TV, Channel 9 in Secaucus, New Jersey, an independent station, begins broadcasting. On this day in history, 1951, Jackie Gleason debuts the character of the bus driver, Ralph Crandom, on The First Honeymooners. That's that skit, and it appeared on Cavalcade of Stars. On this day in history, in 1961, Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's the film based on the novel by Truman Capote, directed by Blake Edwards and starring Audrey Hepburn, George Papa, and Buddy Epson. That premiered. Back in 1962, Dr. No was the first James Bond film based on the novel by Ian Fleming and starring Sean Connery and Ursula Andress. That premiered in London. Back in 1962, the Beatles released their first recording, Love Me Do. Back in 1970, PBS becomes the US television network. Back in 1973, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, that's the seventh studio album by Elton John, that was released that year. In 1990, Columbia Records releases Interior, that's the seventh studio album by Rosanne Cash, was also produced by Rosanne herself. Back in 1994, the 28th Country Music Association Award goes to Vince Gill and Pam Tillis. Back in 1923, actress Glenys John was born in Pretoria, South Africa. In 1924, comedian Bill Dana, a lot of you may remember him, a lot of you may not, but Bill Dana had this sketch he used to do called Jose Jimenez. That's the character he used to do, and he had his own show, the Bill Dana Show. He was born in Quincy, Massachusetts, and he passed away 2017. Back in 1925, actress Gail Davis, who was the original Annie Oakley on the TV series, she was born in Little Rock, Arkansas. She passed away in 1997. On this day in history, in 1942, Richard Street, R&B singer for The Temptations, was born in Detroit, Michigan, and he passed away 2013. Steve Miller of the Steve Miller Band was born on this day in 1943. He was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he's 80 years old today. Time flies when you're having a lot of fun, right? In 1957, comedian Bernie Mac was born on this day. He died in 2008. Back in 1937, actor Anthony Quinn weds actress Catherine DeMille. Back in 1945, actress Janet Leigh, she weds Stanley Remus, and they got married in Stockton, California. They got divorced in 1949. In 1968, actor Charles Bronson weds actress Jill Ireland. Back in 1981, actress Michelle Pfeiffer weds actor Peter Horton in Santa Monica, California. They got divorced in 1988. In 1991, actor Ted Shackelford, he was the actor on Knots Landing, and he weds Annette Wolfe. Back in 1991, director Martin Scorsese, he divorced producer Barbara DeFina after 6 years of marriage. In 2007, actress Reese Witherspoon divorced actor Ryan Philippe after 7 years of marriage. In 1992, Eddie Kendricks of The Temptations dies of lung cancer at the age of 52. Comedian Ronnie Dangerfield, that's the guy that gets no respect, died on this day in 2004 at the age of 82 years old. He was born November 22nd, 1921 in Deer Park, New York. Civil rights activist Fred Shuttleworth died on this day in 2011. And of course, 2011, and he was at the age of 89 years old. He was born March 18th, 1922, and he was born in Mount Meade, Alabama. Yeah, that's Mount Meade, Alabama. And finally, Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, or Steve Jobs, well, it's pronounced Jobs. Steve Jobs passed away on this day in 2011 at the age of 56 years old from pancreatic cancer. And he was born February 24th in 1955. And he was born in San Francisco, California. So, my lovelies, that's what happened on this day in history. And of course, all of you, if you have information that I didn't relay here because I don't know everything, my producer doesn't know everything or can't find everything, but if you happen to know anything that happened on this day in history that I didn't mention, give us type it in and let me see. And of course, I will convey it to each and every one of you. I'm so glad to have all of you out there with us for this this day. And of course, we're all here together, and we're going to be with you for the until the top of the hour. We've got a little less than 30 minutes to go, but we're going to be here. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and we're talking back live to each and every one of you. Now, those of you who want to get involved in the show, a lot of you guys don't. A lot of you guys would just like to sit back and relax and not even, bother. You just want to watch the show. You don't want to get involved. Some people talk and some people don't. And you don't want to get involved. And then I can understand that, because some people they call like the passive audience. They call passive audience. And some people just don't like to do that. But if you're so inclined, and if you have anything to say in particular, of course, we would love to hear from you. And of course, we will, acknowledge you as well. So there you go. And we're here every week. So tell your family and friends about it. Now, for those of you who normally just like to sit back and relax, but you would like to get in touch with me, I have two options. I have an email address and a telephone number. And I will tell you that right now, that you can contact us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It never closes. It's a 24-hour service. My email address is frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. The telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Now, a lot of you may get in contact with me for whatever reason, and you have a lot of reasons to do it. One reason is just to say hello, and you could do that too, because you're not boring us with that. You're not wasting my time. If you just want to type and say, I watched the show and I just wanted to say hello, that's fine too. That gives us a little feedback. Some of you may want to know more about the show, when the show started, the history of the show, which may not be important to you anyway, but you never know. And then there's some of you may say, well, something, I have a suggestion about the show. Why don't you get off of it and get someone else to do it? The way things are going, you never know. You never know. No, but seriously, if you may want to critique the show, which is good. And listen, we're open ears with that. We're open ears, and of course, we're thick skin. So you can't hurt our feelings. You can only help us, when you give us your feedback like that. And so you may say, okay, I may want to see my favorite artist, wherever that artist is on there, and we'll try our best to get them on. If we can't do them right here in the studio with us, we'll certainly get them on Zoom or something, some sort like that, and have a split screen, and you can see from that. Whatever it is, you can get in contact with us. And as I said, It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and you can do that anytime you like. So let me give you that email address once again. It's frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. The telephone number, once again, is 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. And ladies and gentlemen, you can do that right away. We would love to hear from you. I look forward to hearing from you. I really do. So, do that. Later on in the program, before it's all over, I mentioned it, but I will mention it again. I have those movies that some of you may like. I have my picks of the week on Turner Classic Movies. And what I do each week is that I pick for my pick and I bring them to you each week. Now, a lot of you may do things on the weekends, like, whatever it is. I know the summer months are coming up because there's not much you can do outdoors these days, but I'm pretty sure you'll find a way. Other than that, if you happen to be in an inclement weather forecast for this weekend in your area, well, then that's a good time to stay home. It keeps you indoors, right? So what are you going to do while you're indoors? You can do a lot of things. And one of the things is you may want to catch up on some old movies. So I have some picks of movies to convey to you, to add to your bucket list of movies of what to watch. That's all coming up later on in the program, and I hope you stick around for that. Again, if you are watching us on Facebook, take whatever little time we have right now. And, tag your friends. If you're watching us on Facebook, tag your friends. And they'll see that information, they'll click on and they'll bring them right to us. I promise you, it'll do that. That's how it works, and because we say the more the merrier. The more of you guys that come in, the merrier, and we can talk more. If they want to talk to us too, just as well. If they like what they see, like what they hear, maybe they'll come again and again, just like you. For the rest of you who are watching us on YouTube, right? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to do that. That's very important because that gives us feedback at the same time. Now, what you do is take your mouse, right? Take that arrow pointed where it says subscribe. You're on the YouTube right now. It says subscribe. Click onto that. It's very simple. Just click right onto it. And it's there. That's all you have to do. There's no a lot of you may wonder, I don't want to have the money. I don't want to pay any money to do that. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is just click on. Now that gives you the opportunity to know when we ever come on live and you probably forgot about the show or something. Whenever we come on live, you'll get notification. You may be online doing something else and forgot about the show, but when we come online, the minute that we come on live, the notification, the reminder will pop right up. And the only thing that you have to do is click onto that notification. And once you click onto that notification, it brings you right to the YouTube channel and you will watch the live. You don't have to miss the show. You can watch it live right there. And for those of you who normally watch us on Instagram, and you're saying, what happened to Instagram? Well, we have a technical problem tonight on Instagram. We hope that the whole thing irons out for tonight. Now, it may not be the website. I don't think it's the website. I think Instagram is on. I think it's a technical problem between us and Instagram, and it may be on our side. So that's something that we're going to have to figure it out. Got my producer over there. You got my engineer over there. They're dying to jump on it. All right, they're ready. Actually, they're ready to go home. All right. Anyway, so we're not on. Hopefully tomorrow when we do the coffee hour, it will be there. We'll be in full force. They're going to be working on that, and so we're going to see what happens. Okay, you already know that, and it's good news. It's good news. We talked about the government shutdown, right? Well, we were spared the government shutdown. Hooray, hallelujah, all the best. We were spared that. And initially, it was supposed to shut down Saturday night, midnight. But hours prior to that, they came to some kind of conclusion. And so we were spared the shutdown. However, ladies and gentlemen, understand something. This is only temporary. This is only just until they figure out what's going to happen, because they have a new calendar date, which is November 17th, I believe. I think it's November 17th. November 17th is the next calendar date. That may be the day that the government shuts down. That's another day. So we have some grace time. They're giving us a little grace time here. They came up with, they got their heads together just before the time where they were supposed to shut it down, and they spared us. So we're just hoping, and we don't have a lot of time. November, listen, we're already, this is the 5th day of October already. And November will be here just before you know it, you know. And so when they mark 17th, November 17th, that will probably be the day, hopefully, as we keep our fingers crossed, that they don't shut the government down. But the whole thing, you know, came from the speaker, who, by the way, is no longer the speaker. So this government whole thing, it just leads me to this new conversation. Let's see, that's Kevin McCarthy was the Speaker of the House, so he had to deal with him, you know. Now, the minute that whole thing was over, Monday, I think it was a Monday, yeah, Monday or Tuesday, they had a hearing and they voted, and they wanted to vote Kevin McCarthy out. And it took a long time. They didn't know whether or not, because they definitely weren't going to get the votes from the Democrats. They weren't going to vote for them, because what the Democrats said, let's let him hang himself. And the reason why they did that, because when Kevin McCarthy and the Democrats came to this conclusion, well, everybody think, okay, Kevin McCarthy came to his senses and he did a good thing by working with the Democrats, being bipartisan at this particular time. And that was nice, right? But the following day, he went on the air and bashed the Democrats and talked about them and said this and that, and blamed everything on the Democrats, blamed the possible shutdown. It was blamed on the Democrats. And of course they heard that. And so when it was time for them to vote that Monday, the Democrats didn't want anything to do about it. They voted along with the Republicans. Not that they were being bipartisan about it, because the Democrats and the Republicans are not, there's no love lost between them. You know, I wonder why. But anyway, so, you know, they decided that they want to oust him, and they did. He was ousted. They voted, and so now he's no longer the speaker. So he had to give up the gavel. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a speaker in the House. So what that means is that the House is frozen. They can't make any decisions. They can't do any business until they get a speaker. They can't do it right now. And I think Representative Patrick McHenry of North Carolina, I think he's like the temporary speaker. Now, whether he took post yet, I don't think he did. Right now, as far as I know, that the House is frozen and they can't do anything until that happens. And once they have to swear him in, they have to do that. And they're seeking a new speaker somewhere by the middle of next week. All right, that's a long time. When you look at it, that's a long time. You have all of that time not to do business. That's a long time, you know. And then waiting in the wings for permanent speakers. They have two waiting in them. They want to vote on this. And the two that they selected or they recommended was Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. That's beautiful, isn't it? Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan, which Scalise has a lot more experience in politics than Jim Jordan does. But this is who they got. Now, I don't know when this action will take place, when they're going to vote for this, or if they're going to vote for this. But in the meantime, Representative Patrick McHenry is supposed to be the speaker for now. But right now, no one is on the post. No one is standing guard, and so it's terrible. And we've got so many aggravating things of monitor. And now you got inmate number P0113-5809, 345/666 Beast Incarnate. They hauled him in court in New York. And he spent 3 straight days in court. Why? Do I have to answer that question? Don't you know he was in court for fraud? And it was a total disaster, especially when around lunchtime. I think it was the second day. Yeah, it was the second day, that Tuesday, right? They took a lunch break. And so 345/666 Beast Incarnate, as he always do, he has to get on his once Twitter, his make-believe Twitter outlet, whatever it is. He calls it Truth Social, Lie Social, or whatever it is that he's on. And what he does, he has a photo. He finds a photo of Chuck Schumer and the clerk that was in the courtroom. I don't think we have a name for her. I don't have a name for her. And you take pictures of people. You take pictures with politicians, and they found that pictures of her and Chuck Schumer, and he took that photo and he posted the photo saying, "This is Chuck Schumer's girlfriend." Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you know anything about Chuck Schumer, he has a devoted wife. He's devoted to his wife, his daughters, and all of his family. Very devoted to his family. And this, and when he did that, and that teed off the judge. The judge really got teed off. And the reason why he got teed off is because this young lady was one of his staff members. She was a clerk. And when they got back from lunch, they went into his chambers. And he said, "You can consider this a gag order. Take that down and go back to your seat." He said, "Sit down and shut up." And he said, "You can consider this a gag order," which means that if he does anything like that again, or says anything about his staff in the court this past week, he says anything about his staff or anything like that, or post anything about his staff members, or saying anything derogatory or offensive or threatening, there's going to be severe consequences. Now, I was asking, what are the severe consequences? A lot of people are asking, but we have no answers of what that could be. That could be anything. That could be a big, hefty fine. That could be a couple of days in jail. I don't know. They never mentioned that. I don't think the judge actually came out and said that, but he did say that it was going to be a severe punishment. Now, this opens up the floodgates because, he was presented by other courts, and when I think it was what he's in this court here. I think this is it federal, state, or something like that. Anyway, prior to the other courtroom hearings that he had, they had warned him the same thing, but they never did anything. So he goes back out on the campaign trail, and he talks about, and he threatens. He threatens lawyers. He threatens judges. He threatens jurors, and they never did anything about it. And I think that this time, this particular warning and this gag order opens the floodgate. Now, this particular judge actually broke the how do they say it? Broke the glass ceiling. And so that opens the doors from now on. And we have to look and see if this materializes, if he gets any more gag orders from any other judge. But knowing this guy, he really doesn't care about gag orders. And they're just waiting around to see if he's going to open his mouth again. And so here's a man that really can't help himself. And so he may do that again, because remember, and you've seen the videos during the lunch break, he goes to the media out there. Oh, he loves the cameras. And he goes out there and he bashes the judge, and he bashes the attorney generals, all of these people. Letitia James, for instance, right? There's no love lost between those two. And of course, Letitia James says, you know, she said it today. She said, the Donald Trump show is over and she will not be bullied. She said that. You've probably seen it on the air today. It's over. The show is over. The Donald Trump show is over and she will not be bullied. And so I think at this particular time, he met his match. So we're going to have to see if and when he goes back on the campaign trail, whether or not he's going to just say, you know, later for that gag order, and I am going to say what I want to say because it's my constitutional right, is freedom of speech. They always say the freedom of speech. But he went out in that hallway, he talked to the media, and he said that Letitia James was a disgrace to this country. But you got to remember, all of this has nothing to do with the country. This is your fight. This is your fight. This is your bed that you have to lie in. It has nothing to do with Americans. It has nothing to do with this country. So, you know, you can't keep saying that this is, but that's his favorite, you know, line. A disgrace to this country, witch hunt, all of these things, you know. You don't hear too many great things that he says about people. As a matter of fact, you never hear anything nice about it because he's all about himself. And he does this and he does that. And but the courts already determined that all of the properties that he had, Trump Towers, and I can't wait for the day to see when they take those letters down from the building. Trump Towers on Fifth Avenue, because it's a real eyesore every time I pass that building. But they're taking away a lot of things, I'm pretty sure. And he's never going to be able to do business in New York anymore, not in New York State. You know, never. It's finished. It's over. And it's a possibility. I don't know. It's not official yet, but it's a possibility and a strong possibility that they're going to take all of that away from him. And what well, they may auction things off. People may buy it. And speaking of billionaires, hey, watch out. Maybe Elon Musk, he's one of the biggest billionaires in the world. Maybe he'll buy it, you know. And that's like jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. Film at 11, folks. And of course, you know, you just keep your eyes and ears out, because remember, if we go into a shutdown for the government, when you go out to vote, especially when you go to vote in 2024, before you cast your ballot, I was going to say the voting machines, they don't have voting machines anymore. Before you go there and mark off whoever you want to mark off or whoever you want to vote for, before you do that, keep in mind who shut down the government. Before you vote, ask yourself, someone shut down the government. Who shut down the government? Think about that. And then you make your votings. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan. I'm glad to be with you. And of course, we're here each Thursday night between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern. And of course, we talk to you as you talk to us, and we're so glad to have you aboard with us. Now, I want to give you the movies. Now, a lot of you may be doing something for the weekend, and I appreciate that. You want to do something for the weekend. There's not much you can do on the outdoors anymore. Well, we got a little time. The weather's still a little warm, and I think you can still do a few outdoor things. But before you know it, the cold weather will be along, and you'll have wintertime upon us. But on the other side of the world, which we also broadcast, they're going to have the hot weather. They're going to have the summer. But getting back to what I was saying about the movies, you may want to listen to see what we have for you, because you may be under the inclement weather for the weekend. And you may want to stay home, even if your weather is not inclement. And you just like movies, all right? I have some, so let me get started right away, right now. Here's one for you, going back to 1951. It's called Showboat. They did two versions of this. They did one back in the 30s, the original in the 30s, but this one back in 1951, starring Katherine Grayson and Howard Keel and Ava Gardner. And this is on Turner Classic Movies. It's not a black and white, it's a color movie, but it's a classic, 1951. Turner Classic Movies, it's on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I think you'll like it. Just check it out. Here's another one. This is a black and white, and this classic goes back to 1943. Of course, I wasn't here. Maybe you weren't born yet. Maybe you were born. I don't know. It's called Cabin in the Sky. Ethel Waters, Eddie Rochester Anderson. Remember Eddie Rochester Anderson? He was the sidekick for Jack Benny back in those days. Jack Benny's butler, all right, with the gravelly voice, right? Rochester Anderson, Eddie Rochester Anderson, and along with him, Lena Horne is in this. Can't leave out Lena Horne, right? So you have Ethel Waters, Rochester Anderson, and Lena Horne. That's on Turner Classic Movies, Cabin in the Sky, and that's Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern. Another classic, black and white. Here's another, but this is not black and white either. This is going back to color. And here's the one that a lot of you enjoy. I enjoy it very well. It's from 1965, called A Patch of Blue, starring Sidney Poitier, Shelley Winters, and Elizabeth Hartman. And a great movie. I think you'll like it. I'm not going to give you the details of the movies on how it went, but it's about a man who befriended this blind girl and who was actually abused by her own mother. But you'll see it. Check it out. It's Patch of Blue, 1965, Sidney Poitier, Shelley Winters, and Elizabeth Hartman. And that's Turner Classic Movies on Sunday at 3:45 p.m. Those are my picks of the week, 3 of them picks of the week that I want you to explore. Check them out. Now, you can go to Turner Classic Movies and scroll through the program guide, because there may be other movies that I didn't mention, not that I don't like them, because these are my picks of the week. But you may like them. You may want to add them to your bucket list of what to watch as well. And remember, all of these movies that I give you do not overlap. You can watch them all in its entirety. The schedule never overlaps. I designed it that way, so it doesn't happen that way. All right. And while you're there on Turner Classic Movies, while you're there, also, you can go on Movie on Demand. They have the free movies. They have the pay-per-view movies. They have all kinds of sports that you probably missed, and you can check it out again. Also, they have documentaries, children programs, and all of that. So check it out. Let me give you these movies again. Showboat with Katherine Grayson and Howard Keeley and Ava Gardner. That's on Turner Classic Movies Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Cabin in the Sky with Ethel Waters, Eddie Rochester Anderson, and Lena Horne. That's Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern. And Patch of Blue, 1965, Sidney Poitier, Shelley Winters, Elizabeth Hartman, all together. That's Sunday at 3:45 p.m. Give all these movies a try. I think you'll like it. That's going to wrap it up for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. and we'll have the coffee hour. I will be here. Brian Camp won't be here though, so I'm going to cover everything solo by myself, but I hope to see you here. If not, meet us back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Hopefully Brian will be back here at that time with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.